This is my summary of the Sunday afternoon session of General Conference for April of 2024. D. Todd Christofferson. Mormons believe in 3 heavens, and only the best Mormons will go to the highest heaven. Each of the levels is based on your personal testimony of Jesus Christ, but only the Mormon version of Jesus that we interpret for you. And our interpretation of Jesus wants you to give us 10% of your income, covenant yourself to the church and not to Jesus, and to know all the secret words and handshakes. If you don't nurture your testimony, it can crumble with frightening speed. Also, you should share what you believe every chance you get. Unless you're an ex-Mormon, then we want you to shut up and keep your beliefs to yourself. And if someone in the church offends you, remember that the church is perfect. It's only the members that screw up. Act now to secure your place in the highest heaven. And don't be offended by how strict we are. Taylor G. Godoy. One time I was in a hospital and I saw a sign that said, "Call, don't fall." This life brings pain, whether physical, emotional, or otherwise. He actually told a really fun story about when he and his wife got married. But the gist is to trust God. Always think of the Lord as your first option for help. Call on Him in prayer, and then after you do everything that you can to make that thing happen. Accept the Lord's timing when things don't actually work out the way that you want, and just stay on the path anyway. Gary E. Stevenson. I love amazing architecture. Also, bridges are awesome. Now let's look at the 2 great commandments. If ye love me, keep my commandments, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Just like the Golden Gate Bridge needs its 2 towers to support it, both of these commandments need to be obeyed. Also, we should all be paying our tithing. One time I asked a poor blind woman for money for a fast offering, even though the church literally has billions of dollars, and the only thing she could afford to give us was a dime. We should love all of God's children, even if they're a different color, or gay, or trans. You should even love your family members who have left the church. You cannot fully show your love to God unless you love them too. Matthias Held. We should use our agency to choose the right. There must needs be opposition in all things. It's important to feel feelings like hunger and sadness, so that we can also feel full and happy. There are always 2 sides of the same coin that are always present. Charles Dickens said it best when he said it was the best of times and the worst of times. Neil L. Anderson. The Lord strengthens people when they go to the temple, and we are building a lot of temples. Why would God have us build so many temples? So that we can maintain our tax-exempt status. I mean, because we need them in order to be saved. It is breathtaking how many temples we're building. In the last days, people are going to leave the church, but that's okay. You can do their work after they're dead. Also, sometimes we build temples where people don't want them. So it's important that you come and show your support. Mark L. Pace. God works in a pattern of restoration and apostasy. While God will never allow another apostasy, we must avoid a personal apostasy. Reading the Book of Mormon is an important step. We may not learn anything new when we read it again, but it will help us to stay indoctrinated. Lehi and his family were blessed with brass plates, even though many of the chapters include Deutero-Isaiah. Be intentional about indoctrinating your children. The most important copy of the Book of Mormon is your own. If you are reading the Book of Mormon regularly, you will not experience a personal apostasy. I wonder how many ex-Mormons he's actually talked to, because I never went a day without reading it and I still left the church. Russell M. Nelson. Today marks 40 years since Dallin H. Oaks and I were called as general authorities. Also, I hope you repeatedly study all the talks that were just given. When I was called as a general authority, there were only 6 functioning temples. And my goal is to announce as many more temples as I can before I kick the bucket. So today, here are 15 more temples. Polynesia, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Scotland, Australia, British Columbia, Arizona, Texas, Iowa, Ohio, Honolulu, West Jordan, Lehi, and Venezuela.